Take a seat.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir.
Miss Karishma.
Yes, sir.
Karishma, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that you are sitting at around 12-13 feet from anybody in this room.
Yes.
Right? We have kept this arrangement so that you feel safe vis-a-vis COVID and you can very safely remove your mask considering that you are at a safe distance. Right? Please do it. So, comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Fine, Karishma. To begin with, please introduce yourself to board members.
So my name is Karishma Nair. I'm originally from Palakkad district of Kerala, but my family has been settled in Mumbai for the past 20 years. I've done my graduation in forensic science in 2018, post which I've been preparing for civil service. I'm passionate about public speaking and I take interest in reading fiction, reading novels and reading fiction and watching TED Talks.
You did your graduation in forensic sciences.
Yes, sir.
That is too specialized a course, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
And you want to become a journalist. You have taken public administration. You understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, if that was your intention to become a journalist, to become a administrative service officer, why you took such a specialized course rather than taking a liberal sciences, liberal arts course?
So the decision to prepare for the civil services and choose it as a career path was taken when I was in college. I was fortunate to be the general secretary of the students' council in my college, which and I quite enjoyed my role there. And I thought that I enjoy having such responsibility and being the link between the students and the management. Further, during the time, my mother is also a special educator, and her interaction with the BMC got me to realize that how a good administration can impact lives of people. So the fact that I was interested in the kind of work that administrators does got me into reading more about what the administration does, and public administration also helped me to further strengthen my resolve to become a journalist.
That gives me an impression that you're good for politics. You should actually be aspiring to be in the political executive rather than being this anonymous kind of mechanism.
To the masses and be a good political leader. I think that administrative acumen is something that I can muster through the training that I get. I do not consider myself to have the qualities that is needed in a politician at present.
At this stage, you believe that is the case. So you want to use this bureaucracy as a stepping stone and later want to aspire for the political bureaucracy?
Sir, as of now, I have no such political aspirations, and my desire to join the administration is not to use it as a stepping stone. It is to do good work while staying in the administration, to actually be a part of this growth that now it's a defining moment for our country and for public administration and how administration is taking place. So I think that the journey of administration is what is pushing me to prepare for the civil services and join in, not political aspirations.
Your name is Karishma. You have studied public administration. You must have studied about these leadership style, including charismatic leadership. Tell me, do you believe that democracy and charismatic leadership, they're actually antithesis to each other? In an ideal democracy, we should have legal rational leadership rather than charismatic leadership, which unfortunately we have been suffering from last 70 years.
Yes, sir. The ideal situation would be to have a legal rational authority. But as political leaders, they do appeal to the masses, and we see that a certain kind of charisma in leaders ensures that people have trust in these leaders. So we cannot completely deny the fact that charisma is important in a political leadership. But for a democracy, we also need legal rational authority. That is why we have a permanent executive, which is the administration.
But if we stay for a while on this political leadership thing, the idea that even the municipal election are being fought on the name of the national leader. Forget about the Vidhan Sabha election where people do not know who is contesting from their constituency. They believe that they are voting for the national leader. Don't you think that is nothing but a forgery to democracy?
Yes, sir, I do agree that the local issue should be what is taking place in the local elections. And idolizing one individual and having just one individual based politics is not good for governance as a whole. What I meant by having charisma is that having charisma will help you to be a good leader, but it need not be the only thing needed for governance. We do need legal rational authority to ensure smooth functioning of governance.
You've studied forensic sciences.
Yes.
And you're a public speaker. This is what you said. Your public speech is something. Tell me, what are the forensic technologies that are employed when we do the forensic studies of recorded voice?
Sir, I'm not aware of the specific technology, but I do know that in the lab in Mumbai, we have a audio-visual section wherein the voice comparator, I do not know the exact name of it, but it finds the notes through which a match can take place. So a voice is played, and then the person is asked to then give another sample, and then different nodes are checked to analyze whether the comparison between the two.
Which effectively means that every voice is unique.
So we believe that there are some things that cannot be changed in a voice. It can even through mimicry. If you're not, it is not 100%. It is not like a fingerprint that is entirely unique. But we think that there are some things that can be identifiable in the voice, but it need not be 100% unique.
Fine, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Karishma, you just talk about the charismatic authority. What I believe it, charismatic authority is a myth. Charismatic authority emerges when there is a psychological gap between leader and the followers. Do you believe it?
So,
The days of charismatic authority has gone. The days of Churchill, Roosevelt has gone.
Sir, I think the days of just having charismatic authority is gone, because if someone is just charismatic without doing good work and without their actions speaking for themselves, they will definitely be sidelined. But entirely, we cannot say that charisma is not seen, because even in global leaders, we see that Barack Obama had a huge support because of the way he carried himself, the way he spoke. So charisma is important, but I do agree that it is now not the sole basis of authority. There is the need of legal action authority.
What kind of charisma or attributes you have which will be useful for the civil services?
Sir, through the leadership opportunities that I have, I think that I understand when to be a team player and when to be a team leader. So I try and learn from the team that I have. So I think leadership is one quality that I have tried to instill inside me. I think I have good communication skills, which will be needed in the administration. Persuasion and empathy is something that I can use in the administration. These are things that come to
Very
mind.
good. You just said that your interest area is public speaking, right?
Yes, sir.
What kind of communicational skill is required for a good public speaker?
So firstly, the public speaker has to have thorough knowledge about what they are speaking. A well-researched speech is better than an impulsive speech. Secondly, they should realize who their audience is, because every speech does not work with every audience. One should have a good opening line and a closing line. We can use anecdotes, and we can use good quotes. And lastly, one should be able to modulate our voices at certain places, because we need to keep the audience also more, interested in what we speak.
Is there any role of histrionics behavior for public speaking?
Sir, I'm unaware of the term that you mentioned.
Do you believe that our Honorable Prime Minister is a good public speaker?
Yes, sir, I do believe he's a good.
How?
So, firstly, he connects a lot with the audience. He speaks in a very passionate manner, which reaches the audience well. Secondly, the kind of pauses that he takes, it is very well timed, so that he knows what he has to emphasize on. And thirdly, he usually has content which is rich with the kind of work that his government has done. So I think all these three makes him good.
Very good, very good. Have you gone through the institution like PMO?
Yes, sir.
You have studied in the paper 2 of public administration.
Yes, sir.
What is it? Is it a constitutional body or a statutory or executive body?
Sir, it is not a constitutional body. It is neither statutory. I think it is an executive body.
When it came in force?
Sir, I'm unable to recall the year when it has come.
Can you tell me some role and functioning of the PMO?
Sir, it gives the Secretariat assistance to the PM in his functioning as the PM of the country. And then we see that over the course of the years, sometimes the PMO is a stronger institution, so it acts as a coordinating mechanism between the other cabinet ministers. It also acts as a single advisors to the PM are also attached to these offices, and it also acts like a single point to connect with the rest of the cabinet meetings.
Karishma, why PMO is over exercising over other ministries or departments nowadays?
Sir, to my mind, it is because we now have a strong prime minister who definitely.
What is the definition of a strong prime minister? Majority, only majority, or something else?
So majority, and the fact that the rest of the cabinet ministers consider him to be their leader and do not consider them to be at par. He's clearly the first amongst equals amongst them, and the fact that he has a big majority also plays a big role.
Okay, my last question is, tell me something about Citizen Charter.
So Citizen Charter is a document through which an institution tells what kind of services it provides, what can the consumer expect from the organization, as well as it talks about the grievance redressal mechanism in case such service is not delivered. So it is a document that provides a lot of accountability and transparency within the institutions.
It is kind of legal contract or ethical or social contract between citizen and administration?
Yes, sir. More than legally backed, I think it is more ethical, because not all institutions are mandated to have it, but it is more of an ethical moral way of showing what is the quality of service expected.
Very good, Karishma.
Thank you.
Karishma, so one of your hobbies is public policy and debating on those issues, isn't it? And you have also been a student of public administration. So tell us something that are the banks in India a commercial entity or not?
So we have private banks whose objective essentially would be profit making and they are commercial. But we also have public sector banks which have a broader role than just having a commercial purpose.
So the public sector banks do not have that commercial objective as the first objective.
They do have it as one of their objectives, but not as their sole objectives.
Okay, so is RBI a commercial entity?
No, sir. RBI is the regulator of the banking system, so it itself does not undertake any banking operations like normal scheduled commercial banks.
But RBI does earn profit while extending the loan and giving the loans to the banks and other financial sectors in our country, isn't it?
So, but the profit that it earns, it mostly gives back to the government, and the rest of it also it does not use for any commercial purpose, which is why.
How do you define commercial entity? Let us first of all define commercial entity. Then come to this question.
So to my mind, a commercial entity would be something that would have profit for itself and would be able to tweak their policy such that they maximize their profit and can put back the money to enhance their efficiency.
All right. So one thing that is the profit earning motive is the most important ingredient to call any institution as a commercial institution, isn't it? Now, having said that, why does RBI, do not pay any amount of tax to the government? There are commercial institutions, commercial banks in our country. They do pay taxes to the government in the form of corporation tax. But why the RBI doesn't pay any tax to the government? Do you know about it?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of why it doesn't pay.
Okay. What's the difference between the forensic accounting and forensic auditing? Forensic accounting and forensic auditing.
So forensic accounting would be to the record keeping should be very detailed, and so that any wrongdoing which will be there can be brought out in auditing. So auditing will happen post facto, accounting will happen before it. So I think forensic accounting takes place as a preemptive measure so that any fraudulent things can be brought in during the auditing.
Okay, so which was responsible in creating the huge NPA losses to the banks in India?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of it.
Not aware of?
No.
You are aware of this particular fact that the NPAs are there in the banks in India?
Yes, sir. I'm aware of that, but I didn't know if it was forensic auditing or accounting that led to it.
All right.
I'd have to read about it.
Okay, so what do you suggest? What is the future of cooperative banks in India?
Sir, cooperative banks play a big role because it reaches people who are not catered to by the scheduled commercial banks. And right now, the RBI is also ensuring that the regulatory mechanism of cooperative banks is more streamlined. So I see a good future because we now have a Ministry of Cooperatives also, which is pushing for having more cooperative institutions.
Where is the future? The government is not trying to privatize every bank.
Sir, it is not every bank, but we realize that we need a few national banks, but cooperative banks will be there because the lending at the lower level may not be catered to by the private bank.
But they are incurring the highest NPAs in India.
So I think the future would be that we will not have as many cooperative banks. We can merge a few cooperative banks, but we'll definitely have a few cooperative banks which can reach the masses. But I do agree we will not have as many, and we'll have them to be more professionally managed.
All right, thank you. Okay, sir. Charisma, a forensic science expert. Can I say that?
Sir, I wouldn't call myself an expert student.
So I can say a student of forensic science.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is so specific about forensic science?
Sir, it is the application of any sciences to aid the criminal justice system. So what is special is that it has the importance of forensic science affects life, sir, and of the entire criminal justice system.
Okay, have you heard of the term crime scene?
Yes, sir.
So crime scene is a kind of difficult place where some crime has happened, and I'm talking about a crime that relates to mass murder or something like that, and you are a forensic scientist and you have to visit it. Would you be comfortable going there?
Yes, sir, I would be comfortable.
But somewhere I have read about forensic science that women less prefer about it because of two reasons. One is that they are hesitant in going to these places, first reason, and second is that male proportionality in forensic science for crime scene investigation, except for investigation of cyber things and financial, male is prefer more over that. What is the justification to it?
Sir, I do agree. Forensic science has been a male bastion for a really long time. But I think that is now changing because even in my college, the batch, we had a very positive sex ratio. We had more females than males. And I think with the advent of technology, the risk that is happening onto the practitioners is reducing. So more women are now realizing that it is a noble profession, and it is a profession which does not have as many risks as we thought initially. And also the push by the government is another thing that right now even we have established a National Forensic Science University, and different state governments like recently Uttar Pradesh also opened up a lab. So when more and more government push comes for forensic science, it becomes a profession that more women would also want to take.
Okay, Karisma, give me one argument which I should take up for accepting you as an administrator rather than being a forensic scientist or forensics expert?
Sir, I think the skills that I have garnered and what my goal in life is aligns to the fact that I want to be able to impact lives and to play a role which is much larger than solving crimes, which is why I think that I'll be better aligned in a role as an administrator than a forensic scientist.
What would be your starting line and tone if you have to speak to or talk to a people who belong to the age group of 65 plus?
Sir, I think at 65 plus, they would appreciate if we are energetic. They would appreciate if we are also a little cognizant of the fact that they might not be at the same pace that we are. So I would try and be a little slower. I try and be a little more louder, and I would try and start with something that they can relate to, something from their past as well.
Okay, now comes my last question. You have to talk to the same people, but they belong to the group which you belong to in terms of caste or religion or place of your belonging, and you're talking of something customary which is against the custom which is in practice. Then what would be your tone?
Sir, something which is against the custom, I would not start with public speaking, because I think a sensitive thing should be, it is not something that people will appreciate if we stand and give a speech about it. So dialogue at a local level and talking to specific leaders of the community, because they will trust people from the community to try and change the customs instead of from a person like me. So I will try and engage with people who they trust, and I try and give valid points as to why I think that custom is wrong and why they should change.
So you will take a step back from your public speaking?
Yes, sir. I know when I should.
Okay, thank you. Over to sir.
Yes. Karishma, during your graduation, you have been the part of student politics?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we look at the current status of this student politics in India and Indian universities, where it has reached, since we do know already the importance of the student politics during the colonial time, freedom struggle movement, post-independent, and afterwards also. Generally, regimes, they tend to discourage student politics. How do you see? Those students leader, they are generally being, put behind the bars because of public speaking, and you are interested in public speaking.
Sir, I think student politics is seen at a bad light because sometimes the vested interest enters into student politics. The national political parties also enter into student politics, which the Lingdo Commission has also mentioned, and it should not be the case. Student politics should be limited to what happens within the university and what are the issues of the students that they can raise up. Secondly, sir, the point about public speaking is there are some cases where incendiary speeches are also taking place in the garb of student politics. So that is another reason why I believe that student politics is curbed, which is not something I would support, but I think this could be a justification of why they would want student politics to be.
So you believe that student politics and student leaders, should confine to speak about their, the issues which are very much related with the territories of the universities, isn't it?
No, sir. I think they can speak about national issues as well, but not through a political ideology of political parties. If they are discussing national issues, it should be issue-based. It should be on arguments that are not stoked up because of vested interest, is what I mean. They can definitely speak about broader
The
issues.
definition of the vested interest is very large.
Yes, sir.
You need to rethink on that. Anyways, since you are a person who comes from Kerala, and recently we have seen in Kannur University, the right-wing ideologues syllabus in PG has been introduced, and that has happened, a left-leaning university where SFI is one of the left-leaning students union. It has, supported, those curriculums. What is your take?
Sir, I'm not aware of this specific university, but I think that in any academic institution, if any academic text is introduced, it should be based on the board, and if the student.
Why the protest is being made? Definitely, so other ideologues are, the ideologues of the different, ideologies. They had to be read so that, the people could be aware more so on, isn't it?
Yes, sir, I completely agree that we should not restrict academic learning of any ideology, and I support the fact that we should be learning different ideologies.
We have also seen the moral policing is, on high in Kerala. Is it true?
Yes, sir. Recently, there have been
women.
cases. Yes.
Okay. Country Sri Lanka is facing, the food, crisis recently. We have seen that. So in this regard, International Fund for Agriculture Development, it has, come up with a memorandum and understanding with Sri Lanka to get it out of, those, the food crisis. How, these two, one institute and the country Sri Lanka could work out so that, it could, get out of those crises. What are those, the plans, to get out of, this emergency situation?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm unaware of the memorandum. I'd have to read about it.
All right. Last one from my side. Since we have seen, and the study that suggests that the climate change, they are causing the frequent El Nino and La Nino effect Don't you think so? What are those, the responsible factors which are playing the role of causing El Nino and La Nina more so frequent?
Sir, El Nino and La Nina happens because of differential heating in the Pacific. So climate change will cause this erraticity in this heating. Which is why it is becoming more frequent. Other than that, sir, I think wind speed is another reason why.
Any impact on the monsoon?
Yes, sir. And during the El Nino year, our monsoon in India is very much reduced, while in the La Nina year, we have a more than average monsoon season.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Karishma. Karishma, you mentioned that your mother is a special educator.
Yes.
If you look at the special education, one of the problem our nation is facing from last at least 45 years is that we are unable to integrate the special education need with the mainstream education. Why do you believe that we have failed as a democracy in making our mainstream education inclusive so that the special education can be part of it?
So for this specific issue, globally there is the universal design language through which what they say is that within the curriculum you have to use different techniques so that we would not need a specialized special education, and teachers themselves are trained to teach in multiple ways. In India, I think that the teachers who are teaching students without special needs are not trained as to how to identify special needs students and what are the tools through which they can be taught. So I think the lack of teacher training is one of the major reasons why we cannot do it in India. Secondly, sir, the special needs itself are identified a little late, and they are not given as much importance as they should even on policy, which is another reason why it is neglected and schools are not mainstream. Thirdly, it is not mandatory upon schools to make their curriculum as well as their schools to be inclusive, and if they find a student, they find it better to ask them to leave the school. So if government brings a policy through which we can ensure that different stages of first mainstreaming, then having a co-teacher within a classroom so that one teacher can teach at a different pace and then a teacher can also teach in a special needs. So such a policy should also be brought from the government side.
Looking at this public speech from the same perspective, in the recent COVID times, we saw many world leaders, including governors of the states in United States, all head of the states or head of the governments in Europe. Whenever they were addressing public or press, they were always accompanied by somebody who was doing it in sign language, right? And we unfortunately do not have leaders who face press for the first time. And second, even if they do face press, we do not have such provisions where we can see that special audience are taken care of. Do you believe that we are not sensitive enough when it comes to being a democracy?
Sir, I think that we haven't been sensitive all this while, but we are realizing the fact that we need to do something for these special needs students. For example, just day before yesterday, we have started a 10,000 word dictionary for sign language under the new education policy, which again will make students more aware of the sign language so that not everyone will now have a basic understanding about sign language. So I think that India realizes that we have not done enough for these people, and just having accessibility through an Accessible India campaign is not what is needed. We also need to include them, and having such speeches in a sign language will definitely be a way forward.
Okay, as a daughter of a special educator, please repeat the last answer in sign language.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm very ashamed that I do not know sign language myself.
Nice meeting you. Your interview is over. You can go now.
Thanks. Thank you, sir.
Tell me, is it going to be your first interview, I think?
No, sir. It's my second interview.
Second. What was your score last time?
160.
160.
Yes.
Tell me, you are happy with your performance, or you believe that you could have done a little better?
Sir, I do believe I could have done a little better. There were some questions that I had not even heard of, so I think that I need to brush up on a lot of current affairs. And sometimes I think I could have structured answers also a little better.
How about your communication? You believe that, considering that you believe that you are a good orator, you believe that you were able to utilize that thing well, or it could have been a little better?
Yes, sir, I think I should have been a little more eloquent. I was at a loss of words at multiple places.
Okay, see, Karishma, you're a good candidate. You appear to be a person who is well groomed, who's a person who's well cared, right? And you're coming from a background of both academic as well as your family and other socio-economic background, which suggests that you're a person who's been exposed to various experiences, and that's been your strength. So that reflects well in your personality. So you have that relatively diverse and well-groomed personality, which is very clearly reflecting, and the board member will be able to see it in a very initial phase itself. But there are areas probably you must have noticed that where you can improve. Coming to specifics, your entry is good, sitting posture is good, verbal communication is your strength, so your voice level is also in general good. At a few places it becomes, speed become a little high, but not that your voice clarity is affected. So voice clarity is clearly there, though if the speed is reduced by 10-15%, I'm sure it will increase the effectiveness of the communication. It's not that you're not clear, voice clarity is still there. You have this non-verbal communication things which you probably need to work a little. I mean, I won't be giving you detailed feedback. I'll be suggesting you only those things which can be done in an hour or two, not more than that. One is that there's a lot of hand movement and there's a lot of head movement. Right. So this neck movement and the hand movement generally it is considered good when you are kind of addressing 10, 20, 15 people. It's not really a distraction there. But when you are in a formal communication with only handful of people, there it becomes a distraction. So my advice will be that if without making your body stiff, you're able to
Are you fully vaccinated?
yes sir.
No symptoms of COVID, I suppose?
No sir.
May I remove your mask?
Yes sir.
Arpit,
Yes sir.
please introduce yourself to the board, highlighting your educational qualification and work experience, if any.
So my name is Arpit Gupta. I'm a mechanical engineering graduate from IIT Roorkee. I have worked as a financial market analyst at Futures first in Gurgaon, and after that I left my job. I'm preparing for UPSC CSE.
Okay, Arpit, you are born on 9th December 1998, isn't it? What is the significance of 9th December?
So on 9th December, Constitutional Assembly met for the first time.
Okay, any other significance?
So one other significance is that it's the birthday of Sonia Gandhi.
Okay, any other?
I cannot recall
It is
any
also
other.
celebrated world over as an anti-corruption day, isn't it? And you know, our country, the corruption has pervaded the entire country and it is eating into the vitals of our society. It affects health, it affects education, it affects justice, democracy, prosperity, development, everything. So, you are born on this day, is a big day for the world. How are you going to deal with this problem once you become a part of the Indian bureaucracy?
Sir, I'll try to keep myself integral throughout and follow the due process of law and try to be transparent and accountable to the system and find whosoever is doing corruption and try to follow rule of law to ask myself also and to others also.
Don't you think, Arpit, that those who indulge in corrupt practices don't follow the rule of law? They don't appear to be transparent?
Issue which we have been facing as a country since independence is that transparency has not been there and accountability has been replaced by the discretionary power, and this has led to the corruption. So I think that these two are the principles which are much needed so that corruption can be reduced to a limited extent.
Okay, apart from corruption, what are the issues being faced by today's bureaucracy in the country?
So there are multiple issues, like there is political interference in the bureaucracy, there is pressure on bureaucracy from multiple sides. For example, media is there, CBC is there, courts are there, and bureaucracy is having to balance many of the interests. Resource constraints is also there, and since climate change as a new issue is coming up, bureaucrats need to deal with that. And through the world, since world is going through technological revolution, we are now welcoming industrial revolution 4. So bureaucracy needs to be well acquainted with the technological aspects also. So bureaucracy is having a lot of pressure from all these sides.
Yes, sir. You have rightly said that now present-day bureaucrats, they have to work with their hands tied behind their back. Then how do you expect them to transform the country?
So I think doing both has already been done by bureaucrats since the bureaucracy emerged. So it would not be a difficult task if bureaucrats remain focused on their service motive and try to promote the good of the country rather than promoting good of themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Arpit, you are a resident of Uttar Pradesh. Tell me the forest cover of Uttar Pradesh.
It's 6.88%.
And what should be the average?
UP envisages to have a forest cover of 33%.
So where have you gone wrong?
UP is a very populous state and people are living there, so we need land for agriculture, we need land for people living there, and also we are having many of the rivers, they wash away the forests also, and since we are having floodplains, it is a very fertile area, so many a times trees are cleared, so that's why it has been having less forests since I think more than 50 years now. So gradually we have been trying to push many initiatives so that we can increase the forest, but these initiatives have not been much successful because of the population pressure primarily, and because of the other factors which are coming due to the population pressure and the other issues, for example infrastructure development to cater to the population.
But why do we even need forests? So what is the utility value of forests?
Forests are giving us much of the economic value. Again, forest is something which is giving us the oxygen. So if forests are not there, how will people breathe? This is the basic. If we are catering to the population of say 20-25 crore people, we need them to get a good amount of oxygen. We need to get them breathe in a good environment. And forests are some the places where the air gets filtered. They help in reducing pollution. They help in cleaning environment. They help in making us and they help in livelihood also of rural areas of UP. So they have multiple roles in our life. So they are very integral to our life.
Our existence.
Yes.
So give me 3 or 4 schemes or programs or initiatives UP government has taken to save environment or for afforestation or for saving forests.
I don't exactly remember the schemes, but I know how they are being implemented. So, two of the key schemes are afforestation along the Ganga plains, which has been promoted by UP government, and second is plantation in urban areas. So, UP has tried to increase its urban areas plantation by making it mandatory to have parks in some areas. So, that has helped in increasing the urban forest cover, but that has not been to a significant extent.
What's the difference between tree cover and forest cover?
Tree cover is not in the recorded forest area, but forest cover is in the recorded forest area.
So do parks come in afforestation initiative?
Parks don't come in afforestation initiative, but they provide tree cover, which is very much needed as a lungs for a city which is
Very right.
Thailand.
You have also applied for CAPF.
Yes, ma'am.
How many services are there in it?
There are 7 services in it.
Okay, and which ministry?
It's under the Ministry of Defense.
It comes under defense?
No, it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. CAPF comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. So ITBP is catering to which border?
It's catering to Indo-China border primarily.
And BSF?
BSF is catering to Indo-Bangladesh border and India-Pakistan border.
So what's the difference? Why we have 2 different forces for guarding nearly the same borders?
It's primarily because of the training and the terrain required. On India-Pakistan border, we are having skirmishes every now and then. And also on India-Bangladesh border. These borders are very sensitive from point of view of India. And on Indo-China border, we primarily have seen because of terrain, there has not been regular skirmishes. There was a war in 1962, and then after that, again, we saw something like that in Galwan issue. So I think that is one of the reasons. And then other reason is that people recruited are very different at lower levels. At section commanded level, people recruited are similar, but at lower levels, we can see in ITBP localites are preferred so that they can, since they are well acquainted with the terrain also, and they give us the local advantage of having local intelligence. So this is the primary.
You are also a web series enthusiast. Suggest 5 good series to me.
One of the series which I would suggest is Asur. Second, I would suggest is Rakkanchan, which is based on how criminalization of politics happens. Then other is Breathe Into the Shadows, and then one is not a web series but a documentary. It is based on a cricketer's life. It's on Praveen Tambe, and one other is again a web series. It's called Patalok.
Patalok. Isn't it too much violence?
There is violence. It is there because people love to see it, but they are addressing very key social issues which we often ignore being a part of society, and we have never tried to reach to the bottom, trying to understand how these issues have emerged.
Okay, thank you, Arpit.
Thank you.
Arpit, you did your BTech in mechanical engineering. What's the use of mechanical engineering in administration?
So there are multiple uses. The basics of mechanical engineering start from optimization. And we as a mechanical engineer have been doing optimization since time immemorial, since the industrial revolution started. Secondly, the mechanical engineering is based on the concept of producing machines and trying to be more efficient. This is what administration also needs. Thirdly, mechanical engineering concepts like thermodynamics, like the planning, the industrial planning, and many other techniques are very relevant in on the point of view of administration also.
So what is entropy, and how does entropy influence negatively in a system?
So entropy is an intrinsic property of a material, and entropy is we generally expect entropy to increase if we don't give any external influence to it.
Okay, you are a student of mathematics. How your mathematical aptitude could be useful to curb corruption in administration? You born in the International Anti-Corruption Day.
So I think mathematics will help me in producing many of the pathways through which I can reduce corruption. I can give you a very simple example. If someone is doing corruption, we often tend to ignore it because there are lots of calculations involved. But we as an individual try to escape it because we are already having a lot of burden of bureaucratic work. But I as a mathematics enthusiast would try to go and look into it. What exactly are the details and how these mathematics have been creatively accounted some of the times, or some of the times false data has been entered because no one is going to calculate it. Secondly, mathematics has been basic to the technological innovations which have been taking place. Mathematics is basic to developing algorithms. So I can also try to develop some of the apps. Some of the IAS officers have done this also in practice. This has helped in reducing corruption because we can develop such algorithms which can make us aware of it.
How can we restore automation in the Panchayati Raj system for the better delivery of goods and services?
So there is a lot of planning needed and they need capacity building. So we can utilize community services centers.
We can establish a web-enabled kiosk in the village areas, working with the vernacular language.
Yes, we can. So that will also help in bringing people towards technology and attracting rural people towards technology. Since if their representatives are using technology, it will also penetrate down to the bottom of the society. And we can also attract them towards automation by showing them the importance of automation. That it can also help in hierarchical growth of their own personal life. So that will help probably attracting them.
Okay. You worked as a financial market analyst. Can you flash some light on your job profile?
So I, as a financial market analyst, was given the task of analyzing various data from 2007-2008 till the time I was working. So say 2019, and I was tasked with plotting various graphs so that I can understand the market patterns since 2008 till 2019, and based on that I had to develop some algorithm and place trades in the market so that it can be well accurate.
Very good. Arpit, so being a financial market analyst, tell me the difference between the certificate of deposits and commercial papers.
Certificates of deposits are issued by a bank if someone is submitting to them something, and it is issued as a guarantee that they provide that amount at a certain date. Commercial papers are unsecured instruments. They are basically issued to take some loans, and they are issued by some of the credit-worthy companies. So that the period of it is 7 days to 1 year. So the basic difference is the issuing authority, and also the aim of both the things are different.
Right, sir. Right. So tell me why in India we didn't have the kind of development that we see in America in the field of open market operations.
It's primarily because of the nature of Indian economy. We have opened up only in 1991, so we are developing as a capitalist economy. We are increasingly going towards it, but it is very gradual since we have socialist word in our preamble also. So we are trying to balance it.
What are the differences between the OMO that is used in America and that is there in India?
So the key differences are that open market operations in India are used primarily to provide government the money so that it can spend on some of the social initiatives, say social infrastructure or other fundings. So that
is one difference then.
And sir, in US, the main motto of OMO is to try to provide liquidity or to suck liquidity. So they have been doing it to manipulate their interest rates or say the value of dollar. So they are very much economy oriented. But in India, in our open market operations, we have been less economy oriented. But we are gradually moving towards it. For example, Operation Twist was started by US government in 2008-9. But now in India, RBI also thought of it, but it did not implement because COVID pandemic came and the plan was put off.
Any other difference?
So I don't think I can recall right now.
What about the people's participation in OMO in America and people's participation in OMO in India?
Yes, sir. There have been huge difference. In US, lots of people are aware that there is something called open market operations and we can invest in government securities. But in India, it has not been that open. Only primary dealers and most of the financial institutions are participating in it.
Very nice. So how do you define financial literacy?
Sir, in my opinion, the ability to understand financial terms and the ability to have a applicative mind which can understand the banking transactions as someone who is financially literate.
Which committee in India has proposed to bring financial literacy as the first and the prerequisite for the social inclusion in this country?
I cannot recall.
See, Rangarajan. Alright, so tell me one thing, that why did he propose to actually have financial inclusion first to bring social inclusion in this country?
So it has much to do with the social structure of our society. Most of our farmers are debt ridden because they don't understand the financial transactions. They have been taking loans at a very higher rate. And then again, financial literacy is about understanding how the economy goes. So when we understand economy, we understand what is good for us. We understand how we can be productive and we can get more of the economy, a growing economy. So that is one way social inclusion is done. Secondly, the opportunity. If we understand the financial part of how economy is working, we have more opportunity to explore ourselves in various other fields, since we know the economic health of different sectors and their scope.
Very nice. So do you have domestic help in your house?
No, sir.
No. Have you ever seen in anyone else's house?
Yes, sir.
So what kind of financial coverages are there for domestic help in our country?
I don't think they are covered under any financial as such schemes.
No scheme is there.
So as far as I know, I have not seen any domestic help covered under any such scheme.
Okay, thank you.
Arpit, recently Prime Minister was on the trip of 3 nations visit, isn't it? So, can you briefly tell me about the takeaways that we can have, from his tour?
So, so the 3 countries were primarily Germany, the France, and the Denmark. So, in Germany, Prime Minister's key takeaway was that they should mutually move towards resolving Ukraine-Russia conflict. But Germany also issued a separate statement. So that was one thing, and we tried to work upon the green mobility, which has already been going on as a partnership between India and Germany. In France, we tried to emphasize on multiple aspects. For example, our space partnerships, for our science and technology partnerships, and we are trying to explore the nuclear energy partnership with France, since it was one of the first countries to have the nuclear agreement with us. And in Denmark, we tried to have meetings with all the Nordic countries so that we can have a common ground on green strategic partnership, which we have signed with Denmark. And we tried to have a good relation with Nordic countries so that we can understand their technological innovations and how they have done, how they have tried to go green, and also try to move our projects in Arctic. So
yes, I got it. I think recently, since you talked about Denmark, that is one of the Nordic countries, and we have seen that the Nordic countries, they generally perform better when it comes, the metrics in the social sphere, or you can say, the generally in the media expressions, freedom of speech and all that. They generally perform better, and India lags behind that.
If we leave population as one of the factor, what are those other constraints which makes India not to do better in those matrices which are being prepared?
So I would go with the multi-pronged issues which are there. India, first of all, is having a very diverse set of people, and most of us are not that politically aware. So we are less aware of our rights. So we are less demanding. Secondly, we as a society have been developing very gradually, and in Denmark, the people are very much politically aware. Their capitalists are also more of compassionate people who try to help there. And in India, the capitalism have been more of compliance rather than trying to be a part of social development. So these are the key differences. And also in Denmark, the democracy has been matured, has been developed. But in India, it is still developing.
So you being a mathematician, can you apply some formula, or you can say the theorem which could be used for making Indian democracy to be mature enough in forthcoming years?
I would not say a formula, but I think calculus concepts can work there. Because calculus concepts have been measuring the change which has been coming in society. So if we use parameters such as the skill levels of the people, the political awareness, and various
I can understand, Arpit, your anxiety related, with the not performing well in those indexes. But at the same time, India has also put some, its you can say reservations. It has, put its own reservations while the matrix calculation, comes as per the formulation. What are those concerns? Like, if we do take the Global Freedom Index, what is India's current ranking?
So it's in 150s.
150s. So India has also a concern, like, it would prepare its own?
So yes, sir, India has raised multiple concerns.
India has also opposed, the kind of the WHO's, the calculations of the death due to the COVID-19.
Yes, sir.
So how the mathematics, is going to be helping all those things?
So mathematics can help a lot in this because see, those calculations are based on the mathematics, but the background concepts has not been in consonance for both the countries. See, mathematics can be used to manipulate things. For example, mathematics is being used by some WHO to make the data projections to 10 times of the official deaths. But India is saying that it is widely exaggerated and it is using its own mathematics. So the concept behind mathematics is something which is needed to be looked after. So this is, I think, one of the bigger concerns between both of WHO and India.
All right.
Arpit, as you know, India continues to be a tax non-compliant nation, isn't it? Honest pay taxes, dishonest make merry in our country. Okay, so on the digital platform in financial transactions, the country has been making rapid strides. So with the demonetization and with the implementation of GST, e-ways and all that, and reducing cash limits, reporting high cash transactions, some of the good things have been done by the country to ensure that our cash net expands. Then we have introduced Aadhaar, PAN, Jan Dhan Yojana, and so on and so forth. Don't you think the time has come where we should go from taxing people directly to banking transaction tax concept?
So I think we are still at a very nascent stage of these transactions, and since government is trying to promote these transactions so that it can tap on those transactions, and the black money which has been prevailing due to the cash transactions can be curbed. So I think we still need to go a lot of steps before bringing such a concept of banking taxing bank transactions, because we need to promote these transactions to a limit so that we can have much more data that we are currently having.
What could be a fallout if you go for banking tax transaction?
So there can be multiple issues. First of all, these transactions can go down again for the fear of tax official, because India is said to be a country where tax compliance is not that good. Secondly, people can again start using cash, which can give a boost to the black economy. And thirdly, India is having informal sector as big as 90% of the workforce. So they are not even well integrated into the system till now. So taxing those banking transactions cannot even fulfill the revenue demands of the country currently.
Okay, thank you very much. Arpit, your interview is over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Arpit. So how was your experience, Arpit?
I don't assess myself while performing.
This is going to be your first attempt at the UPSC interview?
Yes, sir.
First attempt. And which attempt is this overall?
Second.
Arpit, you are a wonderful candidate for the civil services. All the good qualities of a civil servant are there in you. In the half an hour session we spent with you, you really made an impact. And that is what is important. You can conclude that you are quite innovative. You can think out of the box. That is very important attribute of a civil servant. Then your cognitive intelligence and the power of analysis is also very strong. That is very important. Then the qualities of civil servant, as you know, there are many qualities. The test of your personality, not the test of your knowledge per se.
Yes, sir.
So number one, honesty. Honesty and integrity. The honesty of purpose is very important for any civil servant. So one has to be honest, not only while talking, but also in conduct. All intellectual honesty, personal honesty, that is very important. Then your communication skills, another thing is the positive body language. Your grasp over subjects, varied subjects. So based on all those parameters, I think you are an excellent candidate for the services, and UPSC will love to interact with you. And if you don't get into any argument with the UPSC board members,
I'm not that argumentative.
you are not. You are not. You are not. We have noticed that. That is why we say you are not. So you will get very good marks in the interview. Now, a few suggestions so that you further improve your performance. Number one, your physical attributes. Socks, I think, is very small. That will take care.
So I forgot
Okay, so you take care of that. Tie also, I believe, you are going to change the tie, or you will be keeping this tie only?
So I'm trying 2 or 3 ties right now. So I've got different reviews on different ties. So I don't know which one to use.
But the tie, I think, with this color doesn't go well. That is why. Either you change the blazer or you change the tie.
So I have 3 options of tie. One is a reddish one is this bluish one, and one is grayish. So I don't know which one is going to.
That is a red or maroon?
Kind of maroon, sir.
The maroon should go well with this. So just try that also. That is our suggestion to you. And whenever you tell someone's name who is well recognized, who is well known, add either Sri, Srimati or G at the end. Sonia Gandhi, you said. So Srimati Sonia Gandhi would have been more appropriate. And at times you have a smiling face, but at times that smile crosses the level of formality. It becomes informal. So smirk, as we call it, so that you have to slightly avoid to look very formal kind of thing. Smile is essential. You must not face the board with a sullen face. It has to be a smiling face, which you maintain is good. But try to remain that only. Beyond smile, you should not go beyond smile. One or two things you uttered like, wait, I will tell you. So you are not supposed to be pedantic. You are not supposed to be teaching the board members. It happens in your flow. You might not have noticed that, but we sitting this side, we noticed that. So avoid because unnecessarily you create confusion in the minds of people about your sense of arrogance and all that, which you are not.
Yes, sir.
Which you are not. You are a very humble, polite person, and a wonderful candidate. Again, tell you with a lot of qualities. Just when you go for the interview, maintain your cool, keep your head on your shoulders,
Yes, sir.
and you will do pretty well. If you have done well in your maths paper, you will be ranking very high in the list of successful candidates.
So I'm expecting very good marks in maths, but
but you are a good candidate for the civil services. UPSC will like to interact with you and will definitely get impressed by your qualities of head and heart. Okay, all the best to you. If you have any specific question to ask.
So I had just one question to ask. Whenever I'm speaking, so some of the times I start speaking a bit faster. So I try to be very slowish, and I try to reduce the speed. So that was
Yes, we did not notice that you spoke very fast. But you see, if you start curbing your natural instinct, it will impact your natural performance also.
That's why I stopped in between some of the times, because I was not I'm not habitual to speaking very slow. I'm habitual to speaking very fast. So that's why
you speak fast or you speak slow, that is immaterial. But you speak to the point. Your answers have to be specific, to the point, and very succinct. And if you have to prioritize your answer, then collect your thoughts in your mind, and then you come out with your explanation. The way you speak, if you speak slow or you speak fast, if you don't speak sense, it doesn't make any sense. As long as you are speaking kind of logically, then there is absolutely no problem. My only suggestion is don't try to artificially kill your natural instinct. Because everybody has his own style of speaking and all that. But your communication skill is excellent, no doubt about it. And very humble way of delivery of a speech. If you can raise slightly your tone and some variation in your tone,
yes,
that will again add to your performance. So not a way of criticism, but if you can work on that, that will improve your performance. Otherwise, excellent candidate. We have no doubt in our mind about your qualities. Okay, all the best to you. All the best.
And please take permission while entering to the board at the gate.
Sorry, we have forgot.
I spoke, but it was
but you must have only muttered those words.
Yes, sir.
Murmuring will not do. You have to be very loud.
Nervous, so that's why I was not able to speak very loudly.
So some amount of nervousness I can understand, but when you enter like a very positive person with a smile on your face, radiance on your face, as I call, and they are almost there. Okay,
thank you.
All the best.
Thank you. May I come in, sir?
Yes, please do.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Vishal.
Yes, sir.
Vishal, you're comfortable with English as your preferred medium?
Yes, sir.
And you're vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
Both those?
Yes.
If you're not having any symptoms right now, then you can safely remove your mask because we are also vaccinated.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Comfortable?
Yes.
Fine, Vishal. Then please introduce yourself to board.
My name is Vishal Dhakar. I come from Guna district of Madhya Pradesh. I completed my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya Guna itself. After that, I completed my graduation in BA Honours Political Science from Dayal Singh College of University of Delhi in 2018. After that, I completed my MA in Political Science from Hindu College of University of Delhi. And currently, I am undergoing training in Indian Postal Service in Ghaziabad, Rakanpur.
Indian Postal Service?
Yes, sir.
Which batch?
2021 batch.
21 batch.
Yes.
What was your rank?
Last time my rank was 579.
579. And you got Indian Postal Service.
Yes, sir.
So what are the service you're looking for this time?
This time I am looking for mainly Indian Administrative Service or Indian Police Service. Though I have also filled Indian Revenue Service and Indian Audit and Account Service and Indian Defence East-State Service.
Fine, so you're looking for 5-6 services.
Yes,
right
sir.
now. So Vishal, you're currently undergoing the training.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me 3 things which you have learned in the academy already.
So first, discipline, which officer must have. Second, about the structure of Indian Postal Service, like how Indian Postal Service works. And third thing is the services which Indian Postal Service or Department of Post provide to the people, to the citizen of our country.
Okay. If you look at the Postal Service's history,
Yes, sir.
that you must have already studied, tell me why Postal Service is so characteristically different from other central services in the Union.
Sir, the main reason is our last mile connectivity or reach we have. Sir, we have 1,55,000 post offices, which are, some of the post offices are there even in the most far-flung areas. For example, in highest altitude of Himachal Pradesh in Sikkim we have. So we serve the most underserved people of our country. That is the unique thing and different thing of ours in comparison to the other services.
Okay. If you look at, for example, the postal services have a different accounting system, which is not there in the other civil accounts. Why was it required?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of it.
You're not aware of it. No problem. You have studied from Delhi.
Yes, sir.
You studied from Dayal Singh College.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, who was Mr. Dayal Singh?
So Dayal Singh Majeetia was founder of Tribune newspaper and also founder of Punjab National Bank. So he was also a social reformer and worked for the social welfare and reforms, civil reforms. And so he, through his charity, opened Dayal Singh College. One of the Dayal Singh, after his death in commemoration, Dayal Singh College opened in Delhi also. Other than that, there is one Dayal Singh College in Karnal also.
Okay. There was one Dayal Singh College in Lahore as well. You're aware of that?
Yes, sir.
What is the status of that college now?
So currently, I'm not aware of it.
You're not aware. Anyways, thank you.
Vishal, you have a very interesting surname, Dhakar.
Yes, sir.
Tell us something about it.
So Dhakar means being brave or courageous person.
You adopted this surname or something else is there?
So, sir, I inherited that from my parents.
Okay, fine, wonderful. So is it being reflected in your personality?
Yes, sir. I believe it reflects in my personality.
Always.
Sir, I believe that I stand on the principles. I take the right side, and which I think. And sir, I am a courageous person who is there to take. Let's give one example of your courage, sir. For instance, sir, I was in the hostel of University of Delhi, and there were some senior who were pursuing PhD. They were a scholar actually. So they had this one bad habit of putting plates outside, used plates of outside the rooms. So sir, one day I went in their rooms. I said to them, sir, please don't put the plates outside. So that they started fighting with me. So I remained calm, but sir, I complained to the higher authorities. They scolded me, but I tried to pursue them. So sir, those days I stand on the principle.
Very good. So Mr. Dhakar, I'm giving you a situation.
Yes, sir.
In your house, the electrician comes and he's from an economically weaker section. And he tells you that his father, who was a Group D employee in a city municipal corporation, he got retired last year but has not received his pension. And the officials there are asking for money. So what are you going to do?
Sir, I am at what designation?
You are a simple citizen, well-informed citizen.
Sir, first we can file RTI of that what is the procedure of particular pension. Second thing, we can complain to the for instance, if that person gets pension through the post office. So there are divisional head SSP is there. In SSP level there is a dark adalat. We can complain in that. So in this manner that can be resolved.
Okay, fine. My next question is, you are from KV.
Yes, sir.
What is so unique about Kendriya Vidyalaya?
Sir, uniqueness, there are many. First is diversity. Because in Kendriya Vidyalaya, one can find children from southern states, northern states, and northeastern states also. Second thing is, because there are many KVs, around 1,248, so it is very easy to organize national level, state level, and regional level competition. So there is a lot of good scope for students to progress and compete and know where they stand.
Okay. When was your service initiated?
Sir, yes, 21 March.
21 March which year?
2022.
No, I'm asking when was Indian Postal Service came into being?
Sir, I'm not sure.
Okay, then what is the motto of your service?
Sir, to serve the last mile. So the postal service should be the motto. Sir, I'm not sure about it.
Fine. Tell us the reasons why India has been offered full-time membership in IEA, International Energy Agency.
Sir, I'm not sure the specific reason.
Okay, fine. My last question is, do you know about GIS?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get.
Geographic Information System.
Yes, sir.
How it can be used in implementation of government schemes?
Sir, in different ways it can be used. For instance, if we talk about the postal service, sir, addresses can be geotagged so that it would be easy for a postman to deliver things. Other than that, it would be helpful for government in other kind of services also, like Ayushman Bharat, we can take example. If the houses are geotagged,
government can know in which houses we have done the survey of whether Ayushman Bharat has reached there, means survey has been done or not. In this way it can be used, sir. Other than that, sir, for example, in Manrega there is geotagging of assets which has been created. So in that way also survey can be done. Or in Gati Shakti program which has been recently launched by the government, the infrastructure and projects which would be geotagged and their real-time progress can be known through that. Very good. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell me some of the special features of demography of Madhya Pradesh? Something which makes it unique compared to other states?
The first thing is forest area, more than 30%.
Will it come under demography?
Sorry, ma'am, no.
What is demography?
Demography mainly consists about study of the population of a particular
yes,
region.
go ahead now.
First, Madhya Pradesh density of population that is very low as comparison to the other states. That is around 134%.
That is a good thing or bad thing?
That is good thing if we consider in the manner that people can live easily in environmental safer and air pollution, or be considered in that way. Other than sex ratio, which is low in Madhya Pradesh, around 910 per 1000. That is quite low. Third is malnutrition, which is high in Madhya Pradesh as comparison to other states.
What about tribal population? What is the percentage of tribal population of Madhya Pradesh?
Scheduled tribe population is 21% in the Madhya Pradesh.
So can you name some of the important tribes? Any tribe which you have observed in little detail?
Ma'am, Sahariya tribe I've observed in the little detail. Like I mentioned in my DEF about the Udan program in which I worked. In that program, I taught some of the Sahariya tribe girls so that they can get the basic education.
So are there any unique features in their culture or their decorum which I can identify that this is the Sahariya tribe?
Ma'am, I have not observed any unique feature which distinguishes them from other
no
tribes.
problem. Can you tell me what is the sex ratio of tribal communities?
Ma'am, in India,
In Madhya Pradesh.
in Madhya Pradesh, sex ratio is good in 960. It's
960. In some communities, it is even higher than
Yes,
1000,
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, and can you tell me some of the health problems related to tribal population,
yes, ma'am.
which are specific to them?
Ma'am, first is addiction problem is there. Like tribal people are more addicted, according to many survey, to
Addicted to what?
tobacco and alcohol.
Okay.
And second thing is genetic disease problem is there among the tribal.
What kind of genetic disease do you have?
Like tuberculosis cases are more in.
Tuberculosis is it a genetic disease?
Not genetic, but there has been a case of study that they are more
Communicable
vulnerable to those kind of diseases.
Those kind of
Ma'am,
diseases.
tuberculosis they are more vulnerable. Sahariya tribe I'm particularly talking about that.
Okay. Any other thing you can think of?
Other than that, malnutrition problem is there major.
So if I ask you the extent of malnutrition problem in India as a whole,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have any figures?
Yes, ma'am.
What?
According to NFHS 5, National Family Health Survey, stunting is 35%, wasting is 19%, reduced from 21%, and underweight is around 30%.
So when we say malnourished, either of the three should be there or they should be all together present? How do we define malnourished?
Malnutrition means deficiency or having excess of nutrition, some excess and some in deficiency.
Okay. Have you heard of USTR, United States Trade Representatives, and their priority watch list?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
Ma'am, it is a 301 report, I think.
What is it regarding?
Ma'am, it is regarding imposition of sanctions or particularly watch a country which is not following the IPR and other intellectual property rights
So
related
US
laws.
keeps us blaming that we have very strict IPR rules.
Yes, ma'am. Recently, it is in the news.
No, from long back, US has been. So do you think what kind of provisions do we have in our patent law, which US is particularly objecting?
Ma'am, may I take one? Sorry, ma'am, I'm not able to recall it right now.
Okay, my last question to you. What do you understand by evergreening of patents?
Ma'am, evergreening of patent means patenting a particular item after the expiration of patent again, just having little minute change in it. That is called as evergreening of patent.
So do we allow it, or are we accused to have it? Which side are we? Are we misusing it more, or we are suffering from it more?
Ma'am, we are suffering from it more. I think we don't allow it, evergreening of patent or utility patent, that is called.
Utility patent. Okay, thank you. Vishal, you're a student of PSIR.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what is gunboat diplomacy?
Yes, ma'am. Gunboat diplomacy means when a particular country use the warships in a kind of a military observation around in an ocean, like China's ship in the South China Sea or USA ship in Indo-Pacific.
How did this term initially originate? Like when was the first instance where it could be seen that okay, this is gunboat diplomacy?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not aware of it.
Okay, do you think the Republic Day that we celebrate in India, is it kind of gunboat diplomacy? If you can just see the connection or similarities between gunboat diplomacy and the kind of Republic Day themes we have.
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not aware of the theme of particular
Like
republic.
we also show the different arsenals, the different military craft ships that we have and latest manufacture. Don't you think it's a message to the world, the kind of armory we have?
Yes, ma'am. It's a kind of deterrence message to the world. Yes, that we have the capability, and if any power tries to dominate over us, then we have that capacity of retaliation
Would
against
that come under kind of gunboat diplomacy? Gunboat diplomacy is basically diplomatically giving a message, the kind of superpower that you hold militarily.
Okay,
So would it
thank you.
come?
Pardon?
Would it come, our military day things, would it come under gunboat diplomacy by that corollary?
Yes, ma'am. By that corollary, I think it comes.
Okay, anyway. Can you tell us which is India's Angry Bird satellite?
Sorry, ma'am. I'm not aware of it.
Okay, do you know any of the military satellites in India?
Specifically, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. What is Bucharest 9, B9 grouping?
I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Can you tell me, if you were to advise the Prime Minister on reviving SARC, what would be the 3 advices you would give?
And first, for reviving SARC, we need to improve our relationship with the Pakistan.
That's the exact advice I was looking for. What would you ask Prime Minister to revive this relationship?
For meetings, SARC meeting has not happened after, I think, long. After Pulwama attack, I think. So, first thing is that. Second,
We took a conscious decision to not
yes, ma'am.
communicate with Pakistan. So what would be your advice now?
Better trade between the SARC countries. Like our trade is only 5%.
I'm asking about reviving first the Pakistan as a country for SARC to be reinvigorated, right?
Okay.
So first you have to advise him how to break, or whether or not to be in communication with Pakistan. So give me your stand. You want the communication to start with Pakistan, or we should go with SARC 2.0 where Pakistan is not a member?
Ma'am, I think we need to communicate with the Pakistan. As former Honorable Prime Minister Atal Bihari ji also said, that we can change our friends, but we can't change our neighbors. So Pakistan would always be our geographical proximity. So we need to talk with Pakistan, and we are at advantage side as of now. Because if Pakistan would be ready to talk to us, it in indirect sense it has accepted the revocation of Article 370.
So your advice would be to continue going with the dialogue with Pakistan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My last question to you would be, have you seen the latest forest survey of India?
Per se, I have seen like a cursory glance. Forest is increased 23 to 24%. Earlier it was 21%. It has increased.
And where has this increase been? In which area? In which part of India?
Ma'am, dense forest has not increased, but the sparse forest has increased.
There's a particular region given in the forest survey that this area of India has seen significant growth of forests.
Ma'am, I'm not aware of it.
And any idea which area, which part of India has seen a decrement in the forest?
Northeastern region.
Northeast region. Can you tell me the reason? Possible reason?
Ma'am, development of northeastern region in terms of road connectivity, in terms of the settlement of factories, etc. First thing. Ma'am, tribal people are also now being developing pakka houses, and also that may be one of the reasons. Slash and burn cultivation can also be cited as one of the reasons for that.
Okay, thank you, Vishal.
I just want to carry forward the same discussion. When you said the 6 ratio about in the tribal areas.
Yes, sir.
Why such tribals have a better 6 ratio than other communities in India compared to the other reasons? What are the reasons for that?
Sir, first is no sun matter preference in the tribal community.
Why is it so? Sir, why is it so that it is not there in tribal areas or tribal people, and then it is more there in other regions?
Sir, dowry may be cited as one of the reasons, because in most of the tribes there is no culture of dowry, or dowry is in a different form. Like sometimes from the male they give the dowry, not from the female. So that may be one. So also societies are matrilineal in the nature in some of the tribes.
Okay, perfect.
Other than that, sir, both male and female work, so there is a kind of equality of work also. So
in other areas females don't work?
So women work, but in tribal majorly women also work along with the men.
Let's come to another point, which is especially in the western Madhya Pradesh we have seen rise in temperature. We are seeing this rise in temperature in every part of India.
Yes, sir.
That's heat wave.
Yes, sir.
What are the reasons for these heat waves?
So this year heat wave reason is mainly because western disturbance are weaker. So heat waves has come in the March itself. Otherwise it would be in April or May.
They're perpetual, right? Every year they
yes, sir. So climate change, we know global warming is the main reason for that. Heat islands are becoming more because of concrete development in urban areas. That is one of the reasons. Also,
how is it in your place?
In Madhya Pradesh, at my place, it is very low heat waves because there is a lot of natural beauty and forest area.
Okay, so because of forest, the heat waves are less there.
Yes.
We get to hear about these water crises in many parts, especially again in the western Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan and many other regions.
Yes, sir.
How do we define water crisis, or how do we define the water stress?
Sir, specifically, I don't know at what, but
is there any particular volume that we consider, or it is just
so particular volume of water we consider? If it is below that, then water stress region is declared.
And you must have heard about composite water index also. You haven't heard? Okay, now we get to hear, according to this index, Madhya Pradesh has done very well in managing water. Can you tell us some steps that have taken by Madhya Pradesh government to improve the water usage there, or water management in the area?
Sir, reviving of the ponds from Manrega workers, that is one thing which has done. Madhya Pradesh has done very good in that.
So more present to other states?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So second thing is Madhya Pradesh is now diversifying the cropping pattern. Like in the southern Madhya Pradesh, millets are more being sown. So that is because wheat and rice take a lot of water. So that may be cited as other region. Sir, as of now, Madhya Pradesh has also been focusing on Ken-Betwa linkage. So that may also solve the problem. So reviving of Narmada in some of the areas where Narmada has been become like there.
Why was there a need to revive Narmada?
So Narmada, there were small streams of Narmada which were dried. So there was a whole movement of reviving the Narmada in 2018 and 19.
And when we are reviving, like suppose Ken-Betwa linkage, and so many linkages are there. how are we tackling internationally? Isn't Bangladesh creating any problems, especially in the eastern part?
So with respect to Teesta River, there is
What are the key issues in Teesta water?
so there is a dispute related to sharing of the water.
Okay.
Bangladesh farmers mainly want more share of the water. There has been meetings, there has been agreements, but it was not fructified. Like the terms and conditions were not met.
But doesn't it sound too opposite, like too contradictory that Bangladesh is facing floods?
Yes, sir.
Bangladeshi farmers want more water.
Yes, sir.
So isn't it too contradictory?
So it is because of the season. In some season, rivers get dry. In that season, farmers want more water. And in some season, they don't want water because there are chances of flood in Brahmaputra. So a specific issue is because of particular season.
Okay. My last question would be, we said last mile connectivity. Can you tell us the last mile post office in all four directions? North, east, west, south.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Any northeast especially?
So there is a whole northeast circle which we have, and we have a lot of post offices.
northern side?
Specifically, I am not aware of the.
Any northern regions?
Sir, yes, sir. In Kashmir, we have a floating post office and on Sikara boat, so that is there.
Thank you. Vishal, before we let you go, tell me if you come across a situation where you realize that you have a problem of anger management, what will be the way to get out of it? What will be your recipe to get out of it?
So instant recipe is to take deep breaths. That helps very well in managing the anger. And second is to think from the other person's perspective, like whom I am angry. Like if I would be in his or her position, what would be my reaction? And third is not to take instant judgment or instant action, just take time so that I can realize the thing in a more comprehensive manner to tackle my anger. And for long term, I believe doing yoga and meditation and reading spiritual books and good books, which
Collectively, more our society is reading yoga and doing spiritualism,
yes,
more we see that the issues of lynching increasing. There appears to be a inverse reaction between yoga, spiritualism, and collective anger.
So I think other factors also come into role. For instance, fake news and radical news on the social media are contributing into hatred generation among the community. So while they are doing yoga and meditation, but they are feeding to such fake news and social media to whole day as they are using the mobile or laptop or internet. So that may be considered as one of the reasons.
Fine, Vishal. Nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You can go now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Come, Vishal, take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Vishal, your interview is on 12th of May.
Yes, sir.
Last time क्या score था आपका?
151.
151.
And before that, 146.
ऐसा क्यों हुआ?
I don't know. Consistently, I'm not getting good marks.
You're consistent in not getting good marks.
Yes, sir.
And what's your take on? I mean, you already know what is expected of you. You have faced the interview a couple of times, so you're already aware. So tell me, what is your take on your performance today?
Some of the factual questions, I might be prepared well for that. Like, I don't able to answer ma'am's question. On some of the specific questions, like related to Madhya Pradesh, I can be better prepared on that. Other than that, I think I need to improve my communication skills also, like way of expressing the things. CCL expression can be good.
So overall, you are in position to actually assess yourself. Look at the video carefully. You'll be able to see where your assessment is right. Our understanding is that you're a good candidate. You're a sitting officer. So in any case, the board's response to your presence is going to be slightly different from the other candidates. That's going to be there this time. So, but at the same time, it is also true that since you're eyeing for a very limited number of positions, so getting another 140, 150 is of no use, right? Since you're looking for good marks or anything, I mean, in any case, you have to get 170, 180, if possible, 200. In that case, obviously, you need to take that extra.
Yes, sir.
I won't call it risk, but you need to slog a bit sometime, right? You need to be you need to be proactive in certain places. Right now, you're a good candidate. Your entry is good. Your sitting posture is good. The officer-like traits are clearly visible. Communication, by and large, is okay. I mean, your sitting posture is right. Your voice is clearly audible. So on the checklist front, you're doing things right. But the checklist front has a problem. That checklist is there for every average candidate. Listen. So you need to have that extra push for last 25, 30 marks. For that, you have to, maybe you have to look at a few things which you can do. One obviously is that you have to be proactive in listening, which effectively means that the moment question is given to you, you should have that tendency of reaching at what exactly the board member want to ask,
yes,
right? What, and then secondly, why, right? Why the board member is asking this question to me? If you have an answer to these two things, one, if you have the answer or not, and second, you understood why the question is being asked, then you'll be able to anticipate what is coming next, right? That part I believe can be a little better. You must have realized that it happened more than once, that you started, I won't call it false, but you started slow. Then there was this push from the member to make you understand that what the member want to hear, and only then you come up with the answer. The answer is really good. So which effectively means that you have the answer, but you're starting it slow. My advice will be listen to the question carefully, give yourself extra 2 seconds, 3 seconds, so that you can structure your answer, right, in the pointers or in whatever ways, and then deliver it with the best possible way. Right now, you need to listen carefully and structure your answer well. Because see, 190, 200 is a kind of score which candidate has to push for it. It's not it is never given in charity. 150, 160 is given in charity sometimes, but when you're talking about 190, 200, then you have to push for it. Please push for it. That's the thing I want you to do. There are a few places where it appears that, see, whenever you have this, since you're coming from Madhya Pradesh and you're a sitting officer, you have this extra opportunity to impress whenever the sensitivity things are being handled. You're talking about tribals, you actually mentioned tribal. Use the, whenever this opportunity is served to you, use it to best advantage. Right now, what is happening? See, you mentioned Saharias, you mentioned tribals, but when we were discussing this, it appears that maybe an extra push is required so that you are able to impress the board members, that you know more than what is written in the books. And that experiential aspect always is a gainer. Whenever you are able to touch the hearts of the board member by saying, in the field I learned this thing, that aspect is always useful because there the actual administrator is visible, the sensitivity and the administrative acumen. So basically, you're not doing anything wrong on the things which are given in a mock interview. These things you're doing, but probably you need that extra push, which I want you to push for. Other things, in general, you're doing well. Right? Look at your service in as much detail as possible, even if you're in service only for 10 days. Right? Wherever you can find the material about your service, and they are very, see, whenever you're able to come up with the anecdotal things about your service, it becomes really important. Right? There must be many things that are told in your service. Use them if possible. It should appear that you're enjoying what you're learning. Right? Other things are in place. Look at the motto. I mean, that part obviously was the basic thing that was expected. Other things are in place. I'm sure you'll do a lot better than this 150, 140. Thank you. All the best.
Sir, one more thing I want to ask, like whether I should go clean shape with mistake or with beard.
All the difficult things.
Because I am doing experiment, like in first time I did with blazer and with clean shape. Second time I thought I would go in shirt and tie only, so like my fitness would look impressed.
See, you're looking nice.
I'm thinking of just going with mistakes.
That is also not really very long mustaches. Right? I mean, cleaner officer is a better officer in any. Okay? Thank you.
सांजू मोड़ दिया